Hi, this is Dave from Heroes Needed, just one of the many fine shows you can find on the Nod Network. Visit us on nerdod.com or subscribe on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or wherever else you get your favorite podcasts.
What is this? Reg does not like Cloud. He thinks he's a bit pompous and stuck up and a little sissy bitch. Well, rage time.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast. My name's Dan and I am a terrible person, Reg.
Spoiler alert, I'm Reg.
Yes, hi Reg. And no one else, just the two of us.
Just the two of us. We can find out why you're a terrible person.
Yeah. You know why I'm a terrible person? I have a confession to make, Reg.
What have you done?
It's what I haven't done until
damn.
2 days ago.
Go
on, if you want to guess, that's even more fun. Go on.
Is it you realised you haven't paid your house mortgage payments for a few months now and you're miles behind and you're like, uh-oh.
No.
So you sue the bank for not informing you.
No.
Is it
those
kids that were screaming outside before
we started
silent?
Yeah.
Have you quickly went outside and said, I just need to have a quick word with the missus and just murdered them?
Maybe. Wait,
Right, okay.
I'm just going to turn the video camera on and show you my blood-stained hands.
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
I did not murder children. It's fine.
Oh.
Gosh, Reg.
Well,
No.
in that case.
But it's worse. It's worse, Reg.
Is it something to do with the pod?
I have never played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time until 3 days ago.
The thing that is weird about that is because I know on what format you've played that on. And
Right.
bear in mind, you've obviously it's been out on the N64 for years. I'm not sure if you had an N64 or not.
No.
If you didn't, that explains why you didn't play it then.
I'll run through the story. So yeah, I never had an N64. But go on.
You did have a GameCube.
I did have a GameCube,
And you did have, because I know.
Yeah, I know.
We all
got them.
Got the actual bonus discs for the
So
Wind
when
Waker.
that was it. It was Wind Waker, wasn't it? When Wind Waker came out on the GameCube, we were working at the game shop, and they did a pre-order incentive, which you basically got a disc that had 4 Zelda games on, didn't it? I think 3. It was 3, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So you got Majora's Mask, you got Ocarina of Time, and you got, was it Ocarina of Time, but like a different version?
Quest.
The Master Quest, that's it. So like a slightly different version of the game, like released for the first time on disc. And the great thing about it was they just sent loads to the shop and went, yeah, anyone who pre-orders it can have that. So you scanned it, and it came through at like £0. It wasn't like this is a £40 thing, but you sell it at the same time. Oh, the computer discounts it. No, it was £0. So yeah, we sold each other a few copies.
We did indeed.
Just 1 or 2. So yeah, I have that. But I had a GameCube, but I didn't play on my GameCube that much, to be honest. I think I was around the time that I had an original Xbox, and that was more my console of choice. I got a GameCube because I got it super cheap for working at the game shop. Yeah, and even when I had a Wii, because they're backwards compatible, I still never got around to playing it. And you know, there are certain games that it's hard to go back to them on a home console on the TV, as technology gets so much better, and then you start playing games, you know, that look incredible. And I know that's a bit snobbish to go, oh, it doesn't look very good, but you know, they're a little bit less accessible.
Wow.
That's all. Just to go, right, yeah, I'm going to sit and play this one now, rather than going, here's a brand new game, I'm going to sit and play that because that's new out. So I just never got around to doing it. Now, I absolutely love Zelda games. But what I love about Zelda is the handheld console ones. It's more the top down or slightly diagonal looking ones. So
the
like
isometric
the first
ones.
Yeah, well, not quite. No, they're not isometric though. They are sort of straight on. In fact, have you ever seen It's either the new one. I think it's the Link's Awakening, the remake they just did.
I really want to get
that. Someone's looked at the sort of the game of that, like taking it apart, looked at all the way it's put together, and repositioned the camera, because the camera sort of it looks down at like a 70-degree angle to the ground, but every character model is like leaning backwards, so every house is leaning backwards at an angle. Every person that walks around leaning backwards, so it makes it look right at that angle. It's weird. So like that, I would love to have that. I would play immediately. So like I had on the original Game Boy, I think it was Link's Awakening, and I've also had Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance. The Minish Cap I think that's my favourite Zelda. That was so good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I wish I still had it. I remember buying it or maybe even borrowing it from the game shop and then giving it back and never buying it. And then the ones on the DS. So the Spirit Tracks was a bit boring because you're just driving a train around a bit. And that came after Phantom Hourglass, where you would sail around in your boat like you do in the Wind Waker. So you had all this freedom of this world that it created. You just sail around and go, it's an island. And then they went, let's take all that freedom and make you ride along some train tracks.
But I like that. So in the same way that I really do like Breath of the Wild, but sometimes I look at it and think, Christ, that's too much freedom for what I want to do.
Well, that feels
just
like
give me straightforward dungeon Zelda. Here's your world map, but it's not as big as what it looks like. Like I like that kind of Zelda.
Yeah, that feels like a different beast, though. That feels like, look, right, we're going to do something from the ground up and make it, let's do open world from scratch. Because even, if you look at something like even Link to the Past or something like that, that's kind of open world. You can go almost anywhere, and fair enough, some things are blocked by, oh, look, you can't pick up that boulder yet, or you can't smash your way through that yet. So that kind of does it in that way. But and any of those I absolutely love. I played through things like Phantom Hourglass about 3 or 4 times on the DS, and the first game I played when I got my 3DS like a month ago, because I'm that ahead, was the I can't remember what it's called, the sequel that they did to A Link Between Worlds. The sequel to Link to the Past.
I really want to play that,
which is amazing. That probably if I play through that again at some point, that might even overtake Minish Cap, because the mechanics of the you can become a painting on the wall, and sort of merge in this 2D world, walk along the walls and stuff like that. That adds so many extra dimensions, and then the other world as well. It's so clever. The fact that they've taken this game that was released however many 25, 30 years ago and gone, let's do a sequel, but it's a bit boring if we just go, well, let's put you in exactly the same world because everything's going to be in the same place. But then by adding this wall sort of mechanic, it lets you access all these places you never accessed before, and then suddenly it opens up the other world that there's a link between, and then it's a whole nother game. So it's really clever how they do it, and that's great. But I also bought, when I bought my 3DS, I bought the Ocarina of Time 3D, even though it's a 2DS that I bought. But I've been like, right, I need to get into this, I need to give it a go. And I started it, and it is so far rather wonderful. But I just felt bad. I was just sat there going, I can't believe it's taken me, 20 years to play this game? However much I love Zelda, I've never played it.
It is weird, but it's like, I must have completed Ocarina of Time. Probably the same amount of times I've done Minish Cap, to be fair, and Lost Cap, but only because the N64 had hardly any fucking games out for it that I wanted to play. And when I did, they were like 70 quid, 75 quid.
Exactly.
Which harkens back to now, which makes me laugh. when everyone's like, I can't believe games going up to this much. It's like, it's not like the olden days. I'm like,
No.
Do you remember the olden days when a Mega Drive game used to be 50 quid and when a fucking, SNES games were still 60 quid?
I've mentioned it so many times on this pod, but I have a copy of VR Racing for the Mega Drive that I bought when we worked at the game shop, and we traded it in for like £1. I bought it for £2. And inside is a receipt from Woolworths, and it says like £95 or something ridiculous.
Yep.
Because that was the one that had the mini console built into it, had the VR chip. So it was so expensive. But yeah, exactly. Like, discs are so cheap to make. Cartridges and everything that went into them was a big chunk of why games back then cost so much. Because the actual technology cost so much to do.
Yeah, and now it's the other way around, where the games just cost so fucking much to make. They're like, absolutely. It's on cheap fucking plastic, but it now costs like 100,000 million.
But at the same time, it means that, look at a game like Grand Theft Auto, GTA 5. Like, it costs you can every now and again you can get that game for about 10, 11 quid, because we sold 700 million copies of this, so any money is good money here. Let's just sell it for dirt cheap. So
yeah, but it's people like me, Dan, that buy games when they're new.
Oh no!
so it's with everyone's like you, where they're like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, but my point is, after a while, they're like, any money now is
after
good.
Like 7 years, we've
made our money back. Now. Yeah. Well, yeah, but then,
or in your sake, in 20 years' time,
exactly.
Like, guess what? I got hold of this PS5.
It's also the accessibility of it on my little console as well. It's just really handy to just be like, right, whip out my Game Boy or my DS. Or whatever,
it is funny though, because like we obviously we do this pod, and if you go back to this time last 18 months, nearly 2 years ago when we first started doing the Nerd OD. Like, I was like, oh, so this game's coming out. It's pre-ordered at the ready. This is purchased. Like, every brand new game is coming out. I've got it, and I'm loving it, and I'm playing it all. And now, fast forward 2 years later, you're talking about 3DS titles. And I'm like, if you've ever heard of Divinity 2, which came out in 2015, and then we're playing like Fire Emblem Three Houses, which came out 2 years ago. And I'm like, we are loving this, and we will talk about these titles as the brand new fucking titles. It's like, now I just bought Aspire on the Oculus Quest, which came out when the Quest first launched, in 2016 or something.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'll tell you what, it is fucking incredible. It is so good. We'll go back to Zelda in a second. I got completely waylaid.
What's it called? Aspire. A-S-P-I-R-E.
So Aspire.
Okay.
E-S-P-I-R-E.
Just going to
Aspire,
Google so I know.
the VR operative.
A VR operative, yep. Okay.
It's come out, and basically it's Metal Gear, but for the Quest. Yeah. And I've had so much fun with it. It's amazing. It is such a good. It's still like one of the few titles that are like, hey, we're holding our full price. And I'm like, wow, that's quite expensive for a Quest game. But now that's one of my game methods of choice. I'm like, well, fuck it. I want something I can delve into that's not like, hey, build this for like a gazillion years and stuff.
Right.
It's just it's a proper full-on action classic. But it also uses your voice in it as well if you want it to. So you can sneak up behind someone, hold up your trank gun, and be like, freeze! And they like drop the weapons and start quivering their hands up in the air and stuff and then you can knock them out instead of using the trank gun. Just literally just go poof with your fist, and stuff. But it's really, really fun. And I was like, I wanted something that I could really get into and be like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because I've not had that since Pistol Whip. I'm like, oh my god, Pistol Whip is so good. And I'm like, I want something to be like that with. Because everything else is like, yeah, this is fun. We've got this, this is fun.
But sometimes you need a game, like just a story to make you want to, drive yourself through the game. Yeah. Something like Pistol Whip is a lot of fun and great, like, oh, I've unlocked a new song. But there's not really anything to be like, right, where's this going?
Yeah, that's it. We had, so on Saturday, we went the zoo with like 29 people.
Right, yeah.
It was just pure insanity. It was amazing.
Just your party social distancing.
Yeah, just
filled
our
up like 40% of the park.
Yeah, that was it. It was like no one else is allowed in. It's like a private party. And then after that, we left early because we had Ash's family come round to ours. So we left early. The zoo shut at 6. We left at like 4. And then I picked them up and I let our cousin or niece, sorry, have a go at the quest. And she's like 16, and I forgot that like how your mindset works. I was like, I've got Beat Saber, which is brilliant. So I was like, do you want to cut things with a lightsaber, like boxes of lightsaber rhythm action, or do you want to shoot people in the face? She's like, well, I want to shoot people in the face. I was like, well, yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Let's play pistol whip. And I was like, right, okay, now you've got 2 other choices. Do you want to punch people repeatedly in the face, or do you want to pull robots apart? She was like, what do you mean pull robots apart? And I was like, literally use your hands and tear off the limbs. And she was like, yeah, of course, that's what I want to do. It's like, right, okay. I forgot how murderous 16-year-olds really are. But then I forgot also how much energy they have compared to us. Stuff flying off our fireplace. The light on the ceiling was shaking. It was like there was no space left in the living room that she wasn't going in about trying to just rampage through. And I was like, holy shit. It was entertaining to watch. I thought I was quite energetic on the quest. Turns out I'm nothing compared to a 16-year-old who's just like, yes, I'm loving life. But it's finished. And she was like, I need to get me one of them. And I was like, yeah, thinking, of course you do, but they are pretty pricey, so you'll probably never get one, but, fair play to you. She's like, yeah, it's like, I'm really good at saving my money. I was like, fair enough then. And she just pulled out a purse, and she's like, yeah, it's about 400 in there. And I'm like, fucking hell, why'd you just carry around 400 quid on you? And I was like, that's impressive, but also, what the fuck? Do you want to leave your purse here? Daddy needs to pay some bills. I was like, wow. But I was getting them to try all the new things, and it was really nice. But everything I've been trying to show off to them, like, yeah, so this came out when the quest first came out, and this did when this first came out, and then when we're playing on the Switch, it's all the old stuff, and I'm just I need to get back into going ooh, here's a brand new one,
Red really. Quality has no time limit.
It doesn't, but for when we're doing a podcast, it's nicer to talk about things that people are excited about.
It is, yeah, but
that they played and forgot about 15 years ago.
Talking about our experience of playing games doesn't necessarily have to be, the subject. We can be talking about stuff that's happening. There's plenty of news going on. But yeah, I mean, I'll wrap up on Zelda.
I was going to say, how far are you through it?
Oh, not very yet. I've had so much to do over the last couple of days, so not played much of it. But I've been having a look into, because they released Majora's Mask as well on the 3DS.
Yes.
While you can get Ocarina of Time for 10-15 quid, you can't get Majora's Mask for less than about 40. It must have been really rare. It just. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Really
even
expensive.
The N64 cartridges for it, if you have a look on eBay and stuff.
Yeah,
the ones on the Ocarina of Time, still fully boxed, can go for silly, but usually go for 15 quid.
Yeah,
Majora's Mask, even unboxed, still goes for fucking 35 quid.
Well,
I'm like, how?
I've got a sealed, original shrink wrapped, boxed Majora's Mask that I bought in a Cheshire Oaks outlet, in the W.H. Smith's outlet, when they used to sell video games for some strange reason. Bought it for about 3 quid. I've never opened it.
I miss those days when I used to work in a music shop. It was just long since shut down on there. And you used to just rock up and be like, hey, Reg, I bought you this. Don't know if you want to play it. I'm like, Neverhood.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm like, this is fucking incredible. It was one of the greatest games of all time. And I didn't realise they tried to bring that to mobile.
Wow.
But Ten Maple, the guy who created it, basically was like, no, you're not having my license and I don't want it going on the mobile. But they were throwing money at him, going, here's all the money. We want this on mobile. And he was like, no.
Wow. You'd think he'd want to earn back some goodwill after.
Yeah, Army Krog was just horrendous. I mean, he's gone, sorry, yeah.
Well, no, that's it really. The only thing I was going to say is, maybe once I've played these two Zeldas for the first time, maybe I should try and play Final Fantasy VII for the first time.
You know what? That weirdly, I know that would rage so many games.
Yeah,
but that's one I'm like, just go for 8 instead. 8 is better.
Well, I have them both. I own them both on the Vita, so I feel like I know I trust your opinion that I'm gonna find 8 is better, but 7, I feel like I need to play. I need to experience the story. I need to know everything. I need to be able to join in when everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, because it is a good game. I'm not going to lie and say it's horrendous.
Yeah, but I mean it must be, because that is really what kickstarted the popularity in the West, at least. Yeah,
sort of, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. And it is a really good game. But I just think there's so much more in Final Fantasy VIII than Final Fantasy VII to indulge in. Like in my opinion, the characters are better in Final Fantasy VIII. I know I probably will get hounded if anyone wants to have a pop at anything in this entire thing. It was originally you for not playing Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and now they're like, oh, I'm going to rage about that. What is this? Reg does not like Cloud. He thinks he's a bit pompous and stuck up and a little sissy bitch. Well, rage time. But he genuinely is, up until Advent Children, which he's fucking awesome in. I'm genuinely not a fan of Cloud. Like, I need to play the remake. That's another one I was really excited about, because it's not technically a remake, because the very end of it is just like, surprise, this is actually a fucking new game.
Yeah, okay, so you've heard about this then.
I heard, before it got released, I was listening to a podcast, which surprisingly wasn't a Critical Role one, and they were talking about something, and then all of a sudden I proper zoned in on it, because I was working at the time, and then I was like, are they talking about Final Fantasy VII? Oh, right, so they've just ruined the ending for me then. Perfect.
Spoilers for everyone at home, but we won't talk about it. So. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a few people on Twitter that I know who were obsessed with it, and they've been streaming it and whatnot, and I'd heard it's almost like this is an alternate universe or something, isn't it? So, but hence why when they announced, this is going to be episodic, it makes far more sense why it's episodic now, or at least going to be in 2 or 3 parts, because the first game is the only one really that is like, this is kind of Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. The second part is going to be this whole new sort of avenue, and someone's gone back in time or something and changed something about how it all ends, and I don't know. That seems to be the way they're going with it. Kind of a little bit Endgame, like, perhaps.
Oh, so we were in work before. My boss has been off for a week, and he came back in and he was like, "How's everyone's week been then?" So we were like, chatted work stuff, which was just bleak. And then he was like, "So outside of work stuff, we watched that. I want to call it Endgame. Is it Endgame?" And we were like, "The Avengers." And he was like, "Yeah, we watched that. Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it?" It's like, "Have you watched Infinity War?" And he's like, "Well, no, because if you look," and he pulled up a notepad, and he was like, "What to watch, what to skip." And he was like, "We watched Endgame, and then me and the wife were like, we need to watch them all now." It's like, "Do we need to watch them all, or is there any we can skip?" I was like, "Yeah, you can definitely skip some, but now you've ruined everything completely for yourself now." And I was like, "You're now going to be watching about 40 odd hours of entertainment for the sake of you already knowing what happens at the end of it all." Yeah. I was like, "But here's ones you can skip." And Mike was like just disagreeing with everything I was saying. So I was like,
I feel like there's just no point in skipping any.
I couldn't sit through Iron Man 2 and 3 again. Definitely couldn't sit through Black Panther again.
Do you know what? Actually, 2 and
Thor and 2.
Well, see, but I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, Thor: The Dark World at them, but then that introduces one of the Infinity Stones. So, there's things like that. There might be average films, but they're quite important in the whole story. But then you're right, actually, Iron Man 2 and 3. I don't think they have any bearing on the rest of it, do they?
No, I don't believe they do.
No.
But it's just, I think, if you properly want to binge it all and properly indulge in the lore and stuff, do it. But if you just want entertainment to watch with your eyeballs and not think too much about it, I probably wouldn't be asked watching the Thor 2 and the Iron Mans and because the thing is, he watched Guardians of the Galaxy just because his missus loves Chris Pratt,
right? So
they were like, I want to watch this, and he was like, yeah, go on, just like, I'll lend it off Mike, it's fine. So they watched it, and he was like, they're actually really entertaining. Like, yes, they are. He's like, I have no idea what they're talking about or what they're doing. And I was like, brilliant.
Yeah.
But he was like, and I want to watch Doctor Strange because I love Sherlock. It's like, that's not how it works, but okay. Yeah. So it was just entertaining because, again, going back through like years worth of films and stuff, like he's never seen any of them apart from like Guardians of the Galaxy and now Endgame. And he's like, this is brilliant. He was like, I quite like that Captain America. He was like, I think we're going to start with him. It's like, don't watch the first one. I was like, we will literally just tell you what happens. But The Winter Soldier is by far one of the greatest films that's ever been put on film. It's just phenomenal. And he's like, oh, really? And Ash was like, I fucking hate him. It's boring. I was like, it's not. Like, it's fucking brilliant. I love The Winter Soldier. Yeah. But it's just weird how...
So good.
How, like, he just randomly came out and went, yeah, watch that Endgame. Like, because they literally just went on and was like highly rated films. And Endgame was like one of the top ones they had on whatever streaming service was. I think it was either Disney Plus or Netflix or something. And it's like, oh yeah, go on then, we'll watch that. I was like, fucking hell. Like, at least look into it and be like, the sequel, like the end of the Avengers saga.
End game.
It's just like, it's just mental how he decided.
I don't know how you can watch it without watching Infinity War.
No, but then the annoying thing is now he won't have that. Oh my god, I wonder what's like who died.
No, exactly. And I get not, fair enough. You don't get that year of like, just what's going to happen. I need to know. And then watching trailers where they reveal absolutely nothing and put fake scenes in, so it makes it look like something's happening and CGI people into scenes when they're not really there. But it just there's so much that just surely doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we literally...
And it would be boring. It's a boring film if you take it out of context. Because, I mean, I don't know, we went to see the midnight showing, didn't we? And I remember, and you're always battling against, like, it's 2 a.m, what am I doing, watching a film? But I remember the first time thinking, great, really like the ending, it's just a bit... nothing really much happens other than that until they get to the point where, like, right, time heist. Spoilers. But the second time I watched it, I was awake and I enjoyed it an awful lot more. And it just sort of, I just realized, you know what, this is a different movie. This is 2/3 of a drama, and then suddenly a third of it is an action film.
Yeah.
So, not having watched any of the others and being thrown into that, and I'm like, why are they all just crying about people disappearing? And you've got no build up of Thanos, who is, in those two films, just one of the greatest villains that's ever been put into a film. He's just feels so menacing, and you genuinely feel like he's not going to be able to be beaten. But you've got none of that build-up. You're just like, who's this purple guy that just shows up towards the end?
Yeah.
It's just bizarre. Especially when you see him at the beginning and they just cut his head off. Again, super spoilers.
Good point, yeah.
But, I'm like, okay, that was a bit weird. And why is Thor fat? But anyway. Yeah, that's a really weird thing to do.
They're going to have loads of really random things that when you go back, they're like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Wasn't he like, what?
Yeah. But speaking of Disney movies, yeah, that's the best segue I'm going to get. Every now and again, there's someone on like Twitter or someone who works for a newspaper or magazine or a website or on Reddit who goes, I've got insider information about this film, and they start leaking stuff. Someone on Twitter, a guy whose username is, I'm going to find this again, he's called Doomcock. Doomcock. Apparently, he has insider information that there's discussions going on at Disney about Star Wars and what they're going to do. And apparently they have three things that they're mulling over. So the first one, which is apparently the least likely, but it is being talked about, is retconning the entirety of the sequel trilogy.
Yes.
So the latest three.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, in the way that someone goes back in time and says to Luke Skywalker, "Oh, don't try and kill Kylo Ren. Don't try and kill Ben, because all this bad stuff will happen." And he goes, "Oh, okay, I won't." And then that changes the entire future. Which I can't see him doing that. That just seems, I don't know. That seems like a real big leap to just write off these three movies just because some internet fanboys didn't like two of them.
Yeah.
The second one would be where are we? To do a whole movie or a series of movies set after Return of the Jedi, but before the new trilogy. Following Luke Skywalker, and it would be set in the sort of the Mandalorian timeline. So the idea would be it could sort of link in with Mandalorian, but also the Obi-Wan series that's coming out.
Yeah.
And then the last one is that George Lucas might be coming back.
Yeah.
Which however unlikely I think that first thing we talked about would be. Fair enough. If he wants to do another Luke Skywalker movie, I'm sure it'll happen. I'm not sure whether Mark Hamill wants to come back and do one. I'm sure that's far more important than anything. Feel like he had a nice bow out, and he has a lot of, he gets some decent work out of it. But I cannot see them going, yeah, look at all these directors we keep getting in to, okay, we've got the Game of Thrones guys now, we've got, Disney have got the brothers that did the Winter Soldier and Civil War and Endgame. They could stick them onto a Star Wars movie. They've got so many people to do it. Why would they invite George Lucas back? I just can't see it.
And the other thing is, if they did, right, brilliant, because the original trilogy are great. Doesn't matter who says what to me. I do not like the prequel trilogy.
No, but they were George Lucas. They were
exactly.
Yeah,
and this is my point. So at the time, 4, 5, and 6, they are fantastic films, but the script is fucking awful. I'm wondering if they got released nowadays, would they be as a big success as what it was released back in the 70s? Because there was nothing really like that huge, big, pow, look at this is all amazing, blah, 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 going through. If they're released now, they'll be like, well, they're all right.
Yeah, they probably would. Exactly. It was just, there's nothing else like it to that.
No. That's the point, because the scripting and it was just the whole idea. It's banal, really. It's not really anything, oh my God, this is so incredible. His writing is poor, and that just goes to show it when it was the 90s, and he was like, right, I'm going to do this now, the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And everyone watched it and was like, your ideas are awful. They're not good. Not just with Jar Jar, but with the whole, the council, everything about it was just, they were boring. They were not good films to watch, apart from the Darth Maul battle at the end of The Phantom Menace. That was the only good thing about that film.
Yeah.
Each one bit had a tiny little set piece, but you can't revolve a whole film around that and think this is going to be fantastic. Yeah. So bringing him back would just go to show that, it's that they're not good. And then people start going, let's go back and watch the others again and just see if it's always been this way. I don't believe it. I just think it's a bit of a mad one. Hopefully it's a second one. That's my choice.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I like the idea of them. I mean, especially having Disney Plus. Fair enough. Look, let's just, the movies that they're doing, they're alternating with Avatar. Let's give us something brand new. Brand new. Set it in the past, set it in the future of what we've already seen. do the Old Republic, do something in another part of another galaxy, very, very far, far, far away. But I like the idea, like they're talking about, Solo. I quite enjoyed. I thought it was a good film.
Solo. I thought it was a great film. Really enjoyed it.
What I was really mostly intrigued about that was, having not watched like Clone Wars or any of the cartoon series, I didn't know anything about the whole Darth Maul thing and him sort of losing the lower half of his body and then having spider legs and all that sort of stuff. So for him then to, again, spoilers, to come back to be in that briefly and hint at the fact that this was that Darth Maul, I was like, do you know what? I like the idea of this. If this is where the Solo trilogy that they're probably going to do was going, which, that's what I thought at the time. Clearly not going to happen. That would be really interesting. I like the idea of that. I fancy seeing where, what's going on with Darth Maul. But the rumours then are, well, let's bring that onto Disney Plus as a TV series. Plus, then, you've got the Obi-Wan series. Great, sounds good. You've got wherever Mandalorian's going to take us. So I like the idea of that. Let's have lots more stories where they can just tell whatever the heck they want. And if they want to give George Lucas something to do on TV, do it. But don't put, something that is so big and important as an actual movie, a new movie trilogy or a new movie release on that guy. Keep it away from him.
100%. I genuinely believed that when you were talking about that, I thought I had an article up that you were going to mention. I was like, that's weird. So while we're talking about Disney, obviously their purchases and things. So Bryan Singer was having like a huge expose from the Hollywood Reporter.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about who was originally in talks to play Charles Xavier?
No. No, I've not heard about this.
This is amazing.
Okay.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson met with Bryan Singer and the group of filmmakers before the X-Men movie back in spring of '99. Apparently, he wore sunglasses and refused to shake hands, which made his case for why he should play Professor Charles Xavier, mentor, leader in what become the first big movie. Apparently, the X-Men producer, Lauren Schuller Bonner, or if I probably pronounced that wrong, actually just looked at Michael Jackson and went, you do realise that Xavier is an older white guy? To which he replied with, don't you know I can wear makeup? I'm like, it would have been amazing. It's so shit, but it would have been amazing to have Michael Jackson play Xavier. Because, I hate those X-Men films anyway. They are shit. But that would have made it well entertaining.
And I disagree with that. I really enjoy them. But that's not something we need to argue about. I know you didn't like it. In fact, didn't you... Did you say the third one?
Yeah, I like the best of the bunch. That's the only one
which is the one that everyone said is the worst. I like them all. I haven't watched them for a while, but I definitely watched them a lot when I was younger, and I really enjoyed them. But no, I can't see that at all. I cannot see that. Sorry, you're gonna have to shave your head. Come on.
It would have just been the best thing in the world ever.
Burn his hair off. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to walk, but I'll moonwalk to my wheelchair.
That's it. He's just moving his wheelchair backwards. He just wanted to live in a house with a bunch of gifted children.
He did.
That's clearly it.
It's his second Neverland. Yes, it was Neverland.
That's it. Yeah.
His home away from home. But whilst we're on the subject of streaming stuff, have you seen the slew of gaming related projects that have just been announced from fucking Netflix? Give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more.
All right, no, not at all.
Right. Okay. So first things first. So we know that there's the Assassin's Creed anime that's coming out to Netflix.
All right. Okay.
Which is going to be awesome. That's done by the Castlevania team. They're also now doing the Splinter Cell.
I saw about Splinter Cell. I hadn't heard that they were doing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, so Assassin's Creed's been in the works for a little bit of time, and apparently they're still doing a sequel for the film.
Yeah.
As well. Apparently, that's still going ahead.
Yeah, that'll never happen
at some point, which is a shame because I really enjoyed the first one. I just thought it was a really good fun, no-brainer. Just crack on and watch. I know they got several things wrong with it, but it was quite entertaining.
It makes. We probably had an entire episode where we talked about it.
We did.
It makes no sense when they have, a pretty well. To be fair, even the games threw away the good. What I thought was the good part of the story, where they don't even care about, animus and all that sort of stuff, do they anymore? They don't look at any of that.
It's because they did a poll, didn't they? Where they went through something like
the internet told them, yeah, no, this isn't that great. All right, let's just leave it out.
Well, what they did was I think it was something like stupid, like 25,000 people or something. They went through the fan base, whoever was on the mailing list, and was like, "How would you like the modern day interpretation of Assassin's Creed to be? Would you like it to be an actual game on itself, like a spin-off series? B, would you like it to be integrated like it is now? Yeah. C, taken out completely? Or D, would you like it in another form, like a series or a graphic novel set or some comics or multimedia, however you want it?" And everyone was like, "Do it comic form." So they're like, "Hey, okay." So it's now going to be the modern day stuff is going to be all used in like books, novels.
I really liked that aspect of it. I liked that this was sort of, I could see where it was going, and then it just didn't go anywhere. It's just a nice little aside from the main game, and it sort of explained what the whole point of it. Having not played any of the much more recent ones, is there anything even remotely like that?
There's tidbits in it.
Because surely you still run up against an invisible holodeck type wall at certain points, and then when you die or you load up, you have a weird sort of blue screen that you run around, right? So how do they explain any of that? Like you're not one of your what's the opposite of an ancestor? One of you're not part of the family. You're not playing your ancestor anymore.
You still are, but the whole arc of the golden apple or whatever the fuck it is in the animus and stuff, that's all now waylaid to other formats. But
it didn't even get resolved, right?
It mainly did with Desmond's arc.
Right.
The whole thing with Desmond, like most of it was all wrapped up nicely with that when, spoiler alert, like he dies in Assassin's Creed 3. Right. But it was all quite nicely done then. And then they were like, right, okay, we've done what we sort of really need to do. Let's just, as they do, stretch it out with other little things and bits and pieces like they do with everything fucking else in that game. So we've got that. We've also now, just today has been announced, they're going to be doing the Beyond Good and Evil movie on Netflix.
Yeah, so they've been talking about that for a while as well, haven't they? But that's official now.
It's now official. It's coming from the Rob Letterman, the dude who did Detective Pikachu.
Okay, yeah.
So it's coming from that team, which is awesome. So it's going to be live action mixed with CGI as well.
Nice.
So
why has it gone so quiet on the game as well?
Well, this is why people are like, is the game still coming? And is this what we're getting now instead? Or like what's happening? And it is still going ahead. They're going to be doing on the 6th of this month, in fact, because we're in August now, aren't we? Fucking hell. 6th of August now, we're having another State of Play by Sony, which is showcasing a lot of... It's nothing to do with PS5. It's only going to be PS4 third-party titles and PSVR titles that are going to be showing off. And I think they're going to be showing a little bit, hopefully, of footage from this, which is coming out. And they're also going to be showing off, I believe, which is just slightly off topic for a second, but irritating as all fuck. We were talking about the Avengers before, and the Marvel's Avengers game is just coming out, which looked all right. It played quite fun, but it wasn't anything like.
This is one of the things I wanted to. I had to talk about actually. So yeah, go on.
So they've announced there's going to be 4 heroes post DLC, post game DLC
for free, which is nice.
Yeah, which is awesome for a change as well, especially with fucking being Square Enix. They were like, right, first one, here's the teaser trailer, and it's Hawkeye, and he looks awesome.
He looks like the rebooted Hawkeye from the comics, which is great. Really good. Really, really good. He looks exactly like he should from that, which is nice.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a really, really strong look for it. And now they've just announced that, the internet rumors were correct. Spider-Man's going to be a PS4, a Sony exclusive.
Now, I'm curious about this because I saw two things. I just saw, the straight post on Twitter saying, right, Spider-Man's coming. And then I saw someone we follow post about it saying, look, this is a bad idea, guys. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's really big on Destiny. And he put up he said they did this with Destiny, and the fans hated it, and it nearly killed your launch. Like there was some character or some level pack that was going to launch on PS4 exclusively. He said you need to rethink this. But the thing is, surely people realize Spider-Man is a Sony thing. There's no way they would give this character, especially after how big the Spider-Man PS4 game was. They're not going to let any of the console just have a go at Spider-Man in any form. So that's why it's not just them going, right, okay, what character can we do here that what can we pay? It's like, no, there's no, you're not allowed. Sony would not allow it to happen. So I totally get it.
Yeah, but this is just, again, another reason why console exclusives suck.
Yeah. Oh, I also saw someone saying, yeah, Xbox owners get Spawn and Switch owners get Link.
Yeah. I was going to say,
you remember, it was Soul Calibur 4, was it?
It was.
And you got Yoda on one of them. And
in fact, actually, I had all three because I had Hitachi on PS4, on the PS2.
Yeah.
Then I had Spawn on Xbox and Link on the GameCube.
Yeah.
It was fun. But that really wound me up. Massively wound me up. The fact they were doing that. But yeah, sorry, going back anyway to the games series.
Okay,
and whatnot that's coming out. So on top of that as well, they announced last month that Dragon's Dogma anime is coming out as well. So one of the most underrated, fantastic third-person RPGs. It was such an amazing game, and I can't believe it didn't get the love that it deserved. They've been even remastered it now for the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah,
and it got nowhere. It's like people still aren't picking it up.
Soulsborne type thing.
No, it's genuinely, it's a proper old school medievally type RPG.
Right.
But it's third person, goes around, like you do die in it. Like at the beginning you're dead and you come back and you've got like they're called pawns, these little dudes that you craft so that you can create your own team, and your mates, if you got the game, your character I could have as a pawn in my game. So I can still you can go off and do whatever you're doing in your thing, but I can have your character, and then your character can go back to your world with items that he's got from my game and stuff, which is great. But it's the combat in it. The combat and the bad guys, like the second fucking enemy you ever come across is the Cerberus, like the big, huge, three-headed dog.
Right.
You come across that, and he's gigantic inside, like stupidly huge in size. But if you're a warrior or like a paladin or whatever it is that's close combat, you can run up, you can jump on them, and you can literally ride them and like stab them. And the griffins that fly up in the air, like you can jump onto them as they're flying by the leg, climb up them and start attacking them from in the air and bring them down to the ground. It's like it was just insane, like the amount of detail they put into that game, and it got nowhere. It was so upsetting. If you've got a chance to play it, seems to talk about old games that we love so much.
Yeah.
1,000,000,000% go back and play that. It's the same as like Kingdoms of Amalur. It's like that was an awesome title that, again, it went nowhere despite how good it was. That was a bit more fable-y than Dragon's Dogma. But that's coming out in September, a brand new version of it. So they've got DLC which is coming out for it as well, which is mad. So they've got like a remastered version of it, all HD'd and sexied up and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then like, right, we're sticking with it. We're going to give like more DLC to it. We're hoping it's going to like churn through and it will get the actual like recognition it deserves and stuff. And I'm like, it needs to be, because it was a fucking great title. I don't understand why it just died. It's weird.
We sort of whizzed past it, but one of the games you mentioned there getting turned into a series was Splinter Cell.
Yes.
Now, Splinter Cell, in the last, let's say 8 years, the only games that have been anything to do with Splinter Cell have been Ghost Recon, right? Just an add-on, a character in Ghost Recon.
Yeah, so you had the character add-on on Ghost Recon, and they also did a really poor mobile Heroes game of Ubisoft characters, right. And he was in that as well. But they've literally not brought him out for anything other than those.
No. Yet they're like, oh, well, this is beloved enough to have his own cartoon series.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, apparently they were going to do the film, weren't they, with Tom Hardy as Sam Fisher, and it's only recently where they've gone, we're having to sort of class that as inactive for now because we're following on from this.
Yeah.
They're bringing back Michael Ironside as well, apparently, to voice him in the actual series, which is the
last game they did, he was in, wasn't he? But the last game they did, he wasn't in, but they brought him back for the Ghost Recon character. Yeah, because
that was part of the reason why people kicked off so much about Blacklist. Not only was it not a great title, but the fact that they didn't have Michael Ironside as him, and he had no idea why he wasn't included in it.
No.
You're like, I don't know why either, because it should have been.
It's odd. It's just I cannot believe that they would do it and not have a game ready to come out. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point there was a new one. It wouldn't make any sense to them. You need that.
No, it's got to. I think this is why they're literally doing it.
Yeah.
It needs to be like, hey, so everyone still loves Sam Fisher, right? I'm like, yeah, but I don't really watch anime or cartoons and anymore.
No. Yeah, so, but the thing is, things like what was it? The Castlevania anime has been really, really popular.
Yeah, and I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1 and loved it.
Yeah,
but if I've got my time is quite precious, and I'm like, what do I want to watch? Do I want to watch something good that I can properly get into, live action, or do I want to sit off and watch cartoons for a bit? I'm like, you know what? I'm going to actually watch something live action that I really want to watch.
Fair enough.
So it is one of them, but it is a shame because again, that's great, and that's been announced. It's getting a 4th season as well.
Yeah,
which is awesome. And again, so staying on the same sort of topic of games and Netflix and these things. You seen that Ryan Reynolds is apparently in talks to do Dirk the Daring for Dragon's Lair. That's apparently the movie is going to be coming out to Netflix.
Okay,
as long as everything goes all right.
Oh, but please do it as a choose your own adventure type thing, like they did with Bandersnatch and that Kimmy Schmidt movie they did recently.
Well, while we're talking about interactive movies,
okay,
you do. So DC had their little showcase that they do every year,
right?
When they show off all these things, and they're doing the animated film for Death in the Family, Batman.
Okay.
In this, and they're saying it's going to be their first to feature interactive storytelling elements in it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is awesome, because if you remember, it's one of the big huge things in the original comics of this and the story arc for it was there was a telephone number in the back page where you got the choice, like, did you want Jason Todd to die?
Oh, yeah.
Or did you want to live? Well, they're bringing this back in the interactive form where you actually get to choose, do you want him to die or do you want him to live? And obviously the story will move on from there. But they're saying that it's not just going to be that choice. There's going to be several choices which will show how the actual the film will progress. So they were saying one of them is Yeah, so you can choose. Do you want him to die, or do you want him to come back? Do you want him to come back as the Red Hood, or do you just want him to come back as something else? There's apparently multiple arcs in which you can go through.
Okay,
threads that you can go through to make the film completely different in how you want to play it. Which I'm like, that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
So I do really want to do that. So that's. After me just saying I'm probably not going to watch animate stuff, that's one I'm like, I do love that story arc, so I will watch that.
Yeah,
and because it's just a film, I'm like, yeah, you know what, it won't go on for long, so I'll watch that. That'll be good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's fun. Oh, I suppose no. If it's like that, and it's not a like. Did you watch the Black Mirror Bandersnatch episode?
No, I heard really bad things about it, so I never. To be fair,
if you like Black Mirror, it was Black Mirror. But the thing is, it's probably like a 40-minute story, but it can take you an hour and a half to 2 hours to go through because there's all these loops back. If you don't pick the right thing, you're going to end up back at this other part where you got this to make this choice again. So you end up going through the same things a little bit too often. That was the only downside of it. So you say like, oh yeah, it'd be a nice short thing. Well, yeah, it could be, unless it does something like that. But I don't know. I like that we can do this sort of stuff now, though. I like that Netflix have sort of built this, this platform to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, the choose your own adventures.
Yeah. Do you know what would be amazing? If I mean, no one, at least over here, has the rights to this program. But for them to get the rights to this program and then do a choose your own adventure style movie. 24, okay. How awesome would that be? The point that I mentioned in 24 is, do you know, Keith? Well, first of all, I've finished season 8. I have one season left, and then I'm done. Unless I decide I want to watch Legacy, which I will never do again because it was terrible. But anyway,
I only ever watched the first 3,
so
I think, of that. And
so
like,
bad.
Yeah, I'm not doing any more of that.
So Kiefer Sutherland's got a new TV series out, kind of. It's The Fugitive.
Yeah.
So it's The Fugitive, basically. He plays the cop hunting down this fugitive. But it's on Quibi, which, I don't know, can we get Quibi over here? Quibi was like this mobile video platform that's been created.
Yeah, it's so weird, this, isn't it? I don't understand
Quibi is quick bites. So it's really short, like 10 to 15 minute episodes. Sort of like, I think they're like, hey, look, people go on YouTube and they watch like 10, 15 minute videos. So what if we put some money behind this stuff? Got some really big actors, big directors. So Steven Spielberg made something. There's so many big names on it. And they release these shows. And the quite cool thing about it is that you can watch it vertically on your phone or you can watch it horizontally. And they must have edited each episode so you can just spin your phone, mid-episode, and it'll change to the right, to the right size for your screen. And when you've got it vertically, it focuses on the right part. So it's a nice idea, but it's like, it's not very much. It's something like $4 or $5 to subscribe to this. And when you subscribe, you get 3 months free to try and get people interested in it. But even though you'd think, everyone's at home, there's this big, lockdown, people want to watch stuff. People want all this new content. It's not taken off, and they're blaming the pandemic because they were hoping that people would be going to work and sat on the trains or buses or whatever, or on their lunch break watching these programs. But either way, they're still ploughing on, and this is the new series that's come from that. So, but Kiefer Sutherland had an interview with Forbes about it.
I'm just reading it now. This is hilarious.
I mean, do you know what? It sounds actually pretty good. It sounds like a really quick 24 because it's like 16 episodes that are 10 minutes each or something like that. But they had like the main things where they had these story beats that would be at the beginning and end of each episode, so it could cliffhanger it pretty well. But in this, he was quoted as saying that he's been banging his head against a brick wall for a movie of 24 for so long that he's got a concussion.
Oh my God, really?
The form that 24 could take doesn't matter to me as much as the quality of the story. Someone comes up with a great story that can be told in 2 hours, then we're going to make a movie. If someone comes up with a great story that could be 24 hours, we'll do the show.
So he will come back.
Yeah. He says it. I mean, it's spoilers again. Series 9, if I remember right, ends in him. Does he get taken off? Is it Russia or China? I forget.
China, isn't it?
Yeah, the last thing, that's he's gone. He doesn't get his happy ending. It's a bit of a cliffhanger.
Which
so
is
to bring that back,
the worst ending in television history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not the word, but it was just the most heartbreaking and just like unfair end. But I just love the fact that you said at the beginning of that interview, I was just having a quick read of it, and he goes, "Yeah, so the thing that enticed me about doing The Fugitive is in this character, he has a sense of humour. He's like, I got to,
I've read that. Yeah,
he was like, in 216 hours of 24, I smiled once." And that was when I was handcuffed to Nina Myers in like season 1. He's like, that's not a whole lot of smiling for 216 hours. I was like,
nope.
Amazing. But again, when you think now, wow, 216 hours, damn, that's impressive work, mate, for going back through that
again. Yeah, just about.
Just like
12 hours left.
That's insane. But so good.
Oh, it's been good. I like not having a job. Yeah.
Fair enough.
We'll finish up with a one more thing style, and actually this is a full circle. This is getting back to Zelda, to be honest. Ooh. So there's an author that's award. Okay, here you go. You know what I'm getting at here. There's a award-winning author by the name of John Boyne. He wrote a book called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which was made into a film about a son of a Nazi soldier and the son of a Jewish professor or something like that who become friends. I've never seen it, and I'm probably butchering the story there, but it's something like that. But anyway, some pretty well-renowned, deep books. And he recently released a new book called A Traveller at the Gates of Wisdom. And there's a section where the narrator's talking about, let me see here, setting out poison for Attila the Hun, and he uses ingredients including an Octorok eyeball and the tail of the red Lizalfoss and 4 Hylian shrooms.
They sound familiar, Dan.
This is a serious book. This is not like some fantasy world. This is not, The Witcher. This is actually, based on something set on planet Earth. Now, someone reading that who clearly also enjoys playing games was like, Hylian shrooms, that sounds familiar. So Googled these ingredients. And the first thing that came up is the Zelda wiki. Now, apparently, in the latest Zelda, that is the ingredients to a poison. So, I don't know, again, having not played it, I don't know whether you've got to collect these items or something to make this poison. Right, well, there you go. And the thing is, this person found that if you Google something in particular that this guy must have Googled for to find the ingredients of poison, this is actually the first thing that comes up on Google. So this fictional recipe for creating poison. So he went, oh great, there you go, and then added it into his book.
That's hilarious.
But surely the just adding the tail of the red Lizalfoss, an Octorok eyeball.
Yeah, how did you not think?
No, exactly. Hang on, what have I stumbled on here? But nope, it's in the book. So it's either, he's an idiot, or he was far, far, far too occupied in writing this book that he didn't notice, or he's a marketing genius and he thought, I'm going to slip this in and someone's going to notice it. And now look, his name's everywhere. People are going to be genuinely buying this book just to see this.
It's going to be interesting to see if it gets taken off and edited and go back to print again with that coming in, because it was supposed to be accurate.
Yeah,
that's really not. You know, that's a massive fucking mistake. But the thing is, who's proofreading it? Surely someone should be proofreading it to be like, yes, okay, I get why he's like, I read that, that's fine. How someone hasn't gone over it to be like, I'm going to check what this animal is to see if it actually exists. Oh wait, it's from Zelda, right? Maybe it doesn't exist in real life then. That's fucking wonderful.
Really insane. Honestly.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
It does feel like a great marketing tactic.
Yeah,
I'm going to sell thousands more books based on it. They were like, well, I'm not into tales of Nazi school children, but in fact, if the Zelda references, I'm in.
Because the thing is now, if you, I suppose, if you Google any of that stuff to be like, oh, how do I make this poison?
Yeah.
Like if you're playing Zelda, then that book's going to pop up and be like, oh, right, that's interesting. Right, I'll have a look at that then.
That's it.
I'll have a nose through that on Kindle. Just mental.
Crazy. Yeah. Right. Well, with that, I think we will call it a night, Reginald.
We will. I'll go and watch another episode of Umbrella Academy season 2.
Oh yeah,
that's out now.
I'm only 2 episodes in, so don't spoil anything.
Well, don't spoil anything for me because we only watched the first one last night.
Fair enough.
So, anyhow, again, in like 6 months' time, we'll be able to talk about it when everyone else is moved on.
Yeah.
Right, coolio.
Okey-doke.
Well, that was fun, Dan. It was good to catch up.
Thank you for joining me.
It was indeed. And also, while we are waiting for next week,
yes,
I do believe it's a special day for someone very special tomorrow, and 3 days after this, before this pod gets released. So hopefully people will be able to join in and
it's
say,
true. It's Barack Obama's birthday tomorrow.
Well, that and your lovely lady friend.
Yeah, it's true, but she does like to tell me that she has the same birthday as Barack Obama, which is how I knew that immediately. I didn't even have to Google famous people with birthdays that are August the 4th.
I don't know if anyone has the same birthday as me because I'm that special.
What's your birthday again?
March the 6th. Come on, Dan.
No, I don't.
You've only been with your lady friend for a limited amount of time. You've known me forever.
Yeah, but the thing is, all I know is it's always when I go away. So your actual birthday date doesn't matter to me. It's just when I get back. Let me see. Tyler the Creator. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes. There we
go.
Shaquille
O'Neal's only 48. I thought he'd be a lot older than that by now. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Oh,
all these people, I have no idea. Oh, Michelangelo.
The turtle?
Well, the painter. So, that's not
as good as...
in the same date of birth? That would make sense, right?
Hopefully, because that would be awesome. Kiki D.
Kiki D. Wow.
So there's no one like... I was going to say there's no one awesome, but obviously, Michelangelo is pretty cool, dude. So,
I'm on famousbirthdays.com here, right? March 6th birthdays. The number one most famous birthday on the 6th of March is Ellie Zieler.
Who?
Well, underneath everyone's names, it's got like, this is what they are, this is what they do. It says TikTok star.
Great.
Shaquille O'Neal is number 6.
You forever ruined my birthday.
I'm just checking mine. In fact, I'm gonna see if Obama comes up number 1. If he does not come up number 1 for tomorrow, August 4.
Well, while you're searching, just quickly.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's number 2.
Who's number 1?
After Cole Sprouse. Who the heck is Cole Sprouse? The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
No idea.
And he's Jughead on Riverdale.
Ah, right, okay.
Seriously. How is he more famous than Obama? And Meghan Markle. She's number 4.
What?
This is the worst website.
I can tell you the most famous person to die on March the 6th is Speaker Knockers.
What?
Speaker Knockers, who
What?
was a rapper, apparently.
Okay.
Speaker Knockers was a rapper from 1994 to 2004.
I have birthday as Rupert Grint.
In fact, I can't actually Google that because that's a work laptop. Don't want knockers being on the...
Fair enough.
Yeah, I won't do that. Yeah, there you go.
Right. Well, anyway, yeah, we were supposed to finish 10 minutes ago, but never mind. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Aye, it's been a pleasure. Thanking you for taking part with your ears.
Yes. Enjoy. Thank you for listening to the episode, and make sure you tune in on Friday for the new episode of Nerd OD&D as well. It's a rather entertaining one.
Nerd OD&D.
We have a new theme song. Okay, thanks.
Use that.
Fair.
Unfortunately.
See you.
Toodles.
Bye.